Hi guys, hope you guys are doing well. Uh, in my first broadcast, I introduced you to Chucky, um, my right hand. So, I thought it might be a good idea to just share a bit about Chucky and where the name comes from. So I think all of us, or most of us, knows the movies Chucky, of this doll that's murdering everybody. So um, after I had my operation, as I said yesterday, I had to start from scratch. I had to learn to use my hand again. I had to learn to write again. I had to challenge myself. One of the I remember one of the most difficult things when I was in rehab for my hand. One of the things that I had to do was I had to learn to screw in nuts and bolts, which sounds very simple, and it is a very simple action to do. But when you had an operation with the trauma that I had on my hand, then that simple task is not so simple anymore. So after my operation, about 3 days or so after the operation, the whole wound burst open. At first, it was a struggle to get the stitches out, and then the day after, it burst open after the stitches was removed. And that was part of the whole thing that eventually led to CRPS. The doctor said when he looked at my hand, that was due to trauma, and that is basic things. That is, using your hand to hit in a board so you can screw it down, type of thing at work, because you're too lazy to walk from point A to point B to get a hammer to do the same job. So you use your hand, and from doing stuff like that without thinking is where eventually the trauma to my hand came from. So learning to do all this stuff, I remember about a month or so, 2 months after the operation, I had to change the spark plugs on my wife's car. So I tried to do that with the left hand. The right hand was still messed up. And then eventually I had to try and use my right hand. Usually in those that know cars, if the spark plugs are in easy proximity, you can see, you can get to it, then it's a very quick job. 5-10 minutes and you're done. It took me 2 hours to change 4 spark plugs, because I would take the spark plug in my right hand, I would take my left hand, curl it around the spark plug, try to put it in, or curl it around the spanner. That would fall. I eventually told my wife, listen, just take the kids inside, because I'm starting to talk in different languages here, which I don't want them to hear. And it was frustrating. It was painful. I wanted to shout. So eventually I got that done. But if you know me, I'm somebody that doesn't tend to lie down. If there's something challenging me, I would put in everything to show to myself that I can overcome this challenge. And a lot of things were like that. So I remember one time I was sitting in my office and I had this little squash ball that I had to press down. And my manager came in and she said, what's wrong? I look angry and frustrated. And I said, it's this damn ball. If I press it with my left hand, I press it flat. If I try to do it with my right hand, it doesn't make a dent. I want to throw it as far as I possibly can. And she looked at me and she took the ball and she pressed it flat. I just didn't have the strength in my right hand to press this ball, to make a dent in this ball, and it was too painful. So a lot of these things was happening to my hand. I remember another time I was we had a braai, just my wife, myself, and the kids, and I made some steak, and Teresa asked me about, listen, do you need me to help you? Because she knew that I wanted to try things. I wanted to overcome these challenges myself. So she asked me about, do you need me to help you? And I said, no, it's fine. I'll do it myself. And the first time I tried cutting the steak went in one direction, the knife went in another direction, all the sauce in the plate landed on me, and I was so frustrated and so angry. And then she said, relax, I'll clean up quickly. She cleaned up, she brought me another plate, and she said, can I help you now? And I said, yes, please, I think you need to help me. And that was one of the things. So with Chucky, it was like everything that I told him to do, or that my brain told him to do, when he just did the opposite. It was as if he was out to get me around every corner, trying to, as I said the other day, either a knife landed in my hand or a screwdriver landed in my hand. That which he was supposed to do, he didn't do. So it started to feel with this feeling of disassociation from my hand being in the corner, not being part of my body. It literally felt like idle hands. Like here was this personality, this person trying to do me harm. And so, out of frustration and out of anger, and believe me, I fought a lot with my hand, and I still do at times. I just started calling him Chucky, and it worked for me, because now I had something, a personality, someone that I could hold accountable and that I can work towards overcoming.